Welcome back, friends, to Lameth Creation DIY. My name is Tammy. Today I am participating in the What Would You Make collab. More on that later on in the video. But for now, let's start crafting. For my first project, you're going to need some tumbling tower blocks. I picked these ones up at Dollarama. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue together, just with some hot glue, 3 pieces. And you'll do this 4 times. So you'll have 3 sets of 4. No, 4 sets of 3. Then, taking some more hot glue, you'll put some on top of the first set of 3 and glue the second set on top and continue going up until all 4 sets of 3 are glued together. Just like that. And you'll do this 2 more times to get 3 blocks. Then taking some wood filler. At first I was just going to fill in the holes, and then I thought I really liked the way it was looking, so I decided to do the wood filler all around the edges on all 3 of the blocks. And I just kept going around with my fingers and smoothing it out and making it puffy and bumpy until they were all done. And this is how they all turned out. I thought they looked pretty neat. Almost looks like icing. Can't eat this stuff though. Now, taking one of the blocks and figuring out what side I wanted, I'm going to take my pencil and draw on eyes, carrot nose, and his mouth. And then taking my black Sharpie and an orange paint pen, I'm going to fill it all in. If you haven't guessed it, we're making a snowman. Then I have these fuzzy socks that I picked up at Dollarama. I'm going to take one and put it over top of its head. Play around with the hat. We do a little more later. Then, taking the 3 blocks, I'm going to take some wood glue, put a little bit on the bottom. I'm also going to use some hot glue, put it in spots where the wood glue isn't, and adhere it to the other block. And I'm doing it kind of winky wonky there, kind of like that. And then I do the same with the head. Then, taking some pillow stuffing filler, I'm going to add a little bit of glue and put that in place everywhere the blocks hang over top of the other one, just to cover in that wood and to make it look like it's got snow. And I do this all the way around. Excuse me, just adding hot glue and the fluff. And I also put a little bit on top of the hat. Now, going back to the hat, we're going to cut off an end, and I didn't like the way it was sitting on top of the head, so I used some more of that stuffing and filled in the hat a bit to give it a little more puffiness and fullness. And I just played around with it until I liked it. Taking another piece of that sock, I'm going to tie it off on the end, just in a double knot, and I add a little bit of glue in between the 2 knots, and then I trim off the ends. Then I take a little hot glue, add it to the hat, tack it down to the side, and with that, this project is done. He's cute. Or she's cute, I guess. Could be a she, right? I love her. On to the next craft. Now, these are the tumbling tower blocks I was talking about that I got at Dollarama. They're $4 and they're much bigger than the normal ones I get, and they also come with dice. Now, taking 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 2, we're going to glue them together. All 4 sets. 4 sets? Yeah. Then, taking those, we're going to I'll let you watch more than I can explain. It's hard to explain this part, but we're basically going to form a square out of the sets of blocks, just like so. And we're going to make 2 of those. Then, taking some more, we're going to take 3, glue them end to end, and you're going to need 4 of these. Excuse me. And I just use hot glue. You can use any other glue. I just use hot glue. Now taking these 4 sets of 3 that we just made, we're going to glue them on the corners of one of the squares we had made with the tumbling tower blocks in all 4 corners. They're a little wonky and not straight, but it all works out in the end. Then taking some hot glue, we'll add glue to the ends of these 3 sets, 4 sets, 3 sets of 4 sets, whatever, and glue the other square on top of that. Too many sets with numbers, man. Now taking some wood filler, this one's pink, I'm going to fill in where all those numbers are because there was a little bit of a groove there and I didn't want those to show. And what I like about this wood filler is when it's done and dried, it's white. Then taking a sander, I'm just using a hand sander, I'm going to sand off all the extra wood filler that is not needed. And then we also have to clean it, get all that dust off. I'm just using a rag and some water. Don't want any of that dust when you paint or stain, or you can leave it the way it is if you want to. Now I'm using sheepskin chalk paint by Folk Art, and I'm going to paint the entire thing with this color. You can use stain, you can use a different color paint, you can leave it the way it is, any way you want. I'm going for the wintry effect, so that's why I'm using this one. It's not really a white, but it's not a cream either. While that's drying, we're going to make a wreath, and I didn't realize I wasn't recording. So what I did is I took those picks that I got off of Amazon, cut the arms off, and then formed them into a circle using floral wire. And then using these other green leaves things, I just find a place where I like it, and then use some hot glue, and I tack it into place all around the circle. We're going to make a little wreath. Then I take some white eucalyptus. I pick off 3 from the branches. And again, I glue those going around the circle. Just in places where you like. Now that that's all done, I take a little bit of white paint and a brush, and I'm going to dab all the way around this little wreath. I find if you dab it in instead of brushing it on, it looks a little more like snow than if you were to brush it on, and it gets down into all those little pine cones, all that little picks, and this is what I did all the way around the wreath to give it that flocked snow effect. I have this round shower curtain and some jute cord. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that little opening closed. In hindsight, I should have did this at the end, but it's all good. Taking off a bunch of the jute rope, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on the inside of this ring, and then we're going to glue the jute rope all the way around this shower curtain ring. And you just glue and glue and glue, wrap and glue. But basically, this here only took me like 8 minutes maybe, and that's a little longer than I think. Looks like it take a long time, but it doesn't really take that long. And then I'll show you when I get down to the end, because that little part is a little skinnier than the rest. I add a bunch of glue, and then I wrap it onto each other first, and then I wrap it all the way to the end. Add a little more hot glue, and then I go back over it just to thicken it up so it's the same size, almost the same size as what is there. Add a little hot glue, cut off the extra, and then I take my hot glue gun, add some glue, and then I rub it down with the tip so that it smooths it all out. Then I take my lighter and burn off all those little stringies that are off. This also gets all the glue strings off too, but be careful. You don't want to catch anything on fire. Then again, taking this sheepskin, I'm going to dab it all over the ring. It's got to have that snowy look. Now it's time to assemble. We're going to take that ring and figuring out where I'm going to need to put the glue. We're going to take some Eileen's Tacky Glue, put it on some spots, and then hot glue on the other spots, and we're going to attach it to the top of what we're making is a lantern, and hold it there till it sets. And then I also take a little extra hot glue and add it in around just for some extra security. I didn't want this to fall off. You can't pick it up by it, but you know, you still don't want to fall off. Then we stick our wreath inside on the bottom. And I have this little candle holder, and I took some styrofoam beads, put it in, battery operated light, and that goes inside. But our lantern needs a bow. So I have this silver ribbon. I measure out to see how big of a bow I want, cut it off, and then I measure off how long the tails I want, and I cut 2 of those off. This ribbon I got from Dollarama. Then the bow ribbon part, I glue the ends together, cinch it in the middle, and then I have some nylon white cord, tie it in a double knot, fix my loops the best I can, and then I cut off the extra little pieces. Then, taking the tails, I dovetail both the ends. And then I fold the other end almost like an accordion. And then I add a little bit of hot glue to hold it together. I do that to both of them. Figuring out where I want the tail to place, I hot glue it down. Hot glue the other one down. And then we hot glue the bow on top. And then I decided to add a little tiny white pom-pom in the middle of the bow. And with that, this project is complete. I would like to thank Zaina from OK at Home, Connie from Connie's Creative Creations, and their guest host, Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, for hosting this wonderful challenge. I always enjoy making things out of wood. All of their links, along with the playlist link, will be in the description box down below. I sure do hope everyone goes and checks them out. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!